So out of curiosity, I mean, you mentioned that like in SG-1 and SG, I don't know, you mentioned specifically in SG-1, but I'm guessing it's similar in SGA, that is not just the romantic relationships, but also the platonic, the friendships, maybe even some of the like friendships that are not really romantic, but maybe something a little bit more special, that they're kind of something that you really love. And I mean, something we observed between SG-1 and Atlantis, but that doesn't really isn't consistent with universe, is that in both of those shows, they generally have scenes where they're like in a cafeteria, just eating or just hanging out. And so I just want to know, like, what do you think about some of those, like, kind of non-action scenes that really don't necessarily drive the plot? Maybe they do, but like, it's not really the action. Like, how do you feel about some of those more just like showing the dynamic kind of scenes in the
Like,
show.
yeah, I think that the everyday scenes and the conversations that they're having just like in the room or, just out on the balcony, I think that those are so important because in good storytelling, I don't remember the Japanese like have their own word for it. In good storytelling, you have to have moments of quiet, reflection, and if you don't have those and it's nonstop action, and that's what I think is wrong with like the superhero movies and stuff of today, is just there's nonstop action and you really don't get to have those important conversations where you get to know the characters and they make a connection. And it's just you really can't replace that with nonstop action.
Yeah.
It's not very human, it's not very realistic. That's not how humans do things. I mean, we go through our life and we have big events, but most of our lives are made up of, quieter conversations and slowing things down. So I think that Stargate is really good in giving you those conversations. In fact, most of the time, I want more. I
Yeah.
feel like sometimes it's like they have a limited amount of time to tell the story, and you have like two or three people like in conflict with each other, and then you only get the conversation with the two of them, and I'm like, what about the third person?
Yeah. Yeah.
So yes, those are some of my favorite scenes because there's like a lesson to be learned or a connection to be made. So that's kind
Yeah.
of my take on that.